We researched places around the world with serious religious conflicts and found these three to really capture our attention.
First visit Jerusalem. This is the beginning of the fight between Jews and Arabs. Obviously, they aren't on amazing terms due to the battle over Palestine, but this has gone into some acts of anti-Semitism. Because of this, there have been increased attacks against Jews. Most of these attacks have been from Arabs, even though they have occurred all around the world. There have been horrible things done against Jews, such as burning of synagogues and many physical attacks and murders. This conflict makes it very confusing for the rest of the world. This is because no one wants to increase the tension between the two races. One example is how Arabs got angry when President Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The Palestinian General Delegate of the UK said that it created havoc within the country. There have been many protests, but not much is being done to tame the people and stop the rioting. People need to be aware of this because sooner or later it will come back and affect everyone.
We are in Yemen. Here, the conflict is between the Houthis, who are a group of rebel fighters. They represent Yemen's Zaydi Shia Muslim minority. They're also backed by the Sunni Muslims. They are at war with the Saudi-backed Yemen government. The conflict started when there was a political transition when there was an Arab Spring that had the longtime leader, Ali Abdullah Saleh, handed over power to his deputy, Abdrabbu Mansour Hadi, in 2011. He had to deal with a variety of problems such as attacks by Al-Qaeda, a separatist movement in the south, continuous corruption, unemployment, and food insecurity. He also had to deal with military personnel still following the loyalty to Mr. Saleh. When the Houthis recognized the president's weakness, they took advantage and gained control of the northern heartland, Sana'a. In 2015, Yemen's Old City, which was a UNESCO site, was targeted by the Houthis. Being a UNESCO site means that the place can have cultural, historical, scientific, or other form of significance and is legally protected by international treaties, but it's not physically protected. This is why the Houthis were able to lead an airstrike on the Old City. According to the UN, more than 9,245 people have been killed and 52,800 injured since March 2015. Civilians have also been repeated victims and forced to flee their homes. Since then, there has been 3 UN-organized efforts to negotiate a peace deal, which have failed. Yemen's representative for the UN, Marty Griffiths, says he plans to relaunch negotiations between the two groups. This affects the world because there is a narrow waterway linking the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden, which a lot of the world's oil passes through.
The last religious conflict is the Christian rebel groups in sub-Saharan Africa. These groups believe in Wahhabism and try to spread it. Wahhabism is a movement to return to the pure form of Islam. In this belief, they ban certain things and enforce positive things. But with this also comes a lot of violence. Even in the attempts to reform Islam, it all started with violence. The creator of this movement, Muhammad Wahab, got kicked out of his hometown for destroying tombs. He believed that destroying those tombs would help create a new Islam, but he was sorely mistaken. Once he died, his followers became much more violent and started murdering people everywhere they could. Many people say that this is the source of global terrorism because there are many reports linking it to attacks and even the war in Syria. There have also been reports of the movement displaying acts of extremism. Another reason of why they are so dangerous is because of the belief that anyone who disagrees with Wahhabism should be killed. They do this to get rid of people possibly threatening the belief, which results in many murders by these groups. Some things that Wahhabism bans are alcohol, stimulants, dancing, music, loud laughter, and crying at funerals.
Due to all this violence, most of the people have to flee. The majority of the sub-Saharan part of Africa is Christian, and most in fact believe in Wahhabism. Anyone who tries to defeat them will ultimately fail. Nothing is being done to stop this because many people aren't aware of how treacherous this situation is. There is no prevention of the fighting or of the killing. People need to be conscious of this conflict because it can't continue this way. There are people being killed every day that this goes on, and it's a horrible cause.